In the heart of bustling Kumasi, Ghana, three ambitious high school students shared a dream that seemed as distant as the stars above: studying in America. Bismark, Albert, and Michael were captivated by the promise of world class education and endless opportunities across the Atlantic. Late nights were spent poring over university brochures and SAT prep books, each page igniting their determination to turn their dreams into reality. What hurdles will they face, and how will they overcome them? Get ready to embark on an unforgettable journey as they uncover the secrets behind the dream of studying in America. Let's get ready as they go through their daring journey. This episode of Fakra documentary, Coming to America, is brought to you by the Fakra app.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody is doing okay. This is a series that we're beginning. We basically want to take this opportunity to sort of like highlight our journey, even from the time that we got to the US from Ghana to where we are now. So I have here with me Michael Oredu, and then Bismark Yebua, and myself. Here, and we're about to. This is a series that is gonna be like 20 episodes in, because we have a lot to talk about, but I hope everybody is gonna enjoy. And then so I think we can get right to it then. Michael, you want to start us with telling us a little bit about your background and where you grew up, and then sort of like your early life, your early journey in life.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Hello, everyone. As Albert introduced me, my name is Michael Redu. So I was born in Ghana, raised in Ghana. I lived in Ghana for the early part of my years, from the time I was born to age 18 before I came to the US. I lived in the Ashanti region of Ghana. That's where I went to school, basic school or middle school, as the US call it, junior high school, and also senior high school. Growing up in Ghana was, I would say, not a challenge, but it was like an experience that was needed. Anything that was thrown your way as a kid, you try to find a way to make sure that that thing became something positive to you. There are times you will have no water, no light, you have to walk miles to school. That journey was something that we really enjoyed when we were growing up. So when I got to the time of going to high school, the Ghana education system, you write a BC, then they place you in the school. I was placed in Opokwari School by God's grace, and I got a scholarship to go to Opokwari School, which was like one of the, I would say, greatest things that happened to me, because at that time we had some little challenges. And the extra money that I got to help me go to school and to have something on me was something great, and something I always look forward to if I have to go back and live that life again. So that's just a little background and how I was able to grow in Ghana. And I know as we go through the podcast, we will talk about most of the other things that we have to talk about, maybe from Ghana to the US, but just a snapshot of my experience in Ghana.
Amazing. Bismarck, you wanna take it next?
Yeah, so I'm Bismark Yabua, also from Ghana. I was born in Sunyani in the brochures region. Grew up most of my life in Kumasi, where I went through primary school, from Holy Spirit all the way to Maria Montessori, then to Martyrs of Uganda, and then ended up at Opokwari School, where after completing Opokwari, I ended up at Legon. And after a while at Legon, about 3 years after Legon, I got into Jackson State to pursue my undergrad with a full ride scholarship, which was very instrumental. And that was when I moved to the US in 2016. And I'm very excited to be able to share the journey from the beginnings, what the passion was, how the experience was in high school, and at which point in my life did I decide that I want to pursue my studies in the United States of America, and how I was able to get it done. And I think that from my experience, and also from Michael's and Albert's experience, we can be able to shed light on a path that many people want to be able to journey on, and try and give the tips, the tricks, and all the things that are needed to make sure that you succeed in that journey. So very excited to be part of this podcast and this series.
Great, great, great. Yeah. So a little bit about myself also. My name is Albert Boateng, and I was born in Kumasi, in Ghana. I was born into a family of 6, so I'm like the 5th born. So growing up, I had the opportunity to go to sort of like a different primary school, a different middle school, and obviously like a different high school as well. So each of them had like, their unique experiences, but I would say that each of them had its own way of, teaching me sort of like, the way to sort of like, the way to life in general. So I had the opportunity to also like, take the BEC, but typically we take the BEC at Form 3, some will say. So I didn't go the normal route of taking it like, at that stage. I was able to take it before I reached that stage. So regarding high school too, a lot of things happened. I didn't really even get to know about the coming to America. Like I didn't even have the dream of coming to America till after high school, which was an interesting thing in itself. But I'm also excited to sort of like talk about my journey in general, from middle school to high school to college, college days, and then even my life right now, being a software engineer. So I'm excited for this podcast as well. So yeah, great. So one thing that we wanted to also discuss, and anybody can take it from here, is I know like in Ghana, right? Usually when someone is going to high school, the popular sort of like courses, so to speak, like business, general art, and science. What courses did you guys end up like taking in high school, and was that like the original plan, or did you change your mind whilst you were in high school? Like how was the process like for you?
Well, I can go first. So for me, at the time I was about to write a BC, there was at some point the desire to pursue science, because that was one of the course that my dad wanted me to do. But I didn't really like chemistry in JHS. Whenever it came to balancing equations, I wasn't a fan of it. So when you're about to write a BEC, they give you a form, you take it home, you sit down with your parents, you discuss it, and then you choose your courses, and you choose your program or your course, and then you choose your schools. And so I had Pokuwari school, and I had science initially. And I remember to this day, getting to Martyrs of Uganda JHS's gate, and my dad giving me the form to go submit to the school. And my dad looking at me, and he asked me, "Why are you quiet?" And I couldn't say anything. He asked me, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And I told him I want to be a chartered accountant. And then when I said that, he just took the paper and changed it from science to business. And so going into to high school, my dream, or the job that I was thinking of doing, was to be a chartered accountant. And that was a job that I heard about, especially for everybody wanting to do business. That's one thing that most people heard about, like going into college, pursuing business administration, getting with a focus on accounting, and then going there and going to the charter and becoming a chartered accountant. And so that was the aim when I went into high school. And to be honest, I loved accounting in high school. It was one of my best classes. And in fact, till when I completed high school, it was still the best. It was still the thing that I wanted to do even when I went to college. It was only by not getting my first choice to pursue after high school at Legon or Tech. The course I got was economics, and economics was also a good course for me. So I just decided to pursue economics, maths, and computer science at Legon. And from there on, the focus switched. Once I did it for 2-3 years, and I ended up coming to the US, I just stuck with economics. I never went back to accounting. So that's how the path of choosing what program I was going to study at high school went for me.
Great. Michael.
So for me, it was just a Bismarck situation, just a little slight difference. He had his father asking him what he should do or what he wants to do. It was the same for me. And his father wanted him to be a doctor or do science. My dad was the opposite. So I wanted to do science. So I went to him and I told him that this is what I want to do. I enjoy the class, integrated science, and some of the projects that we do. And he took me to our school at that time, Hope and Faith, at Ebuakwa, somewhere near Chinyase area. He took me to the school, and as we were walking out to the administration block, he looked at me and he said, "It's not that I don't want you to do science. It's just that you might be maybe a good student, but when you graduate, I might not get money to put you into a medical school. So what I want you to do is to do business. And if you do business, you get the opportunity to do greater things and other things that you would also enjoy in the science field, but it will be business related." So then I took that. We had to just fill out the form 2 over there, put business in, and we submitted. And it was a great thing to me when I went to Opokuare. As Bismark said, he also went there. He was my senior. I didn't get to know him over there, but the business courses that we took, they actually taught us great things and the trajectory that is spanned for us. I chose to be in the finance side when I saw that I wasn't really interested in like looking at past data and just making decisions based on the past data. That's what accounting was. I was looking forward to what can I use this data to do? What's behind this? We can say that accounting helps you in forecasting, doing all the other things, but for me at that time, I was looking at if a business comes to me right now and ask about how can they get more revenue, how can they see their growth potential in the next 5 years, how do we come out with that? Is it like balance sheets, trial balance, bank reconciliation? Is it what I will use? So I was like, okay, I think finance will be the best route. So I applied to University of Ghana also. I got business administration. I applied to tech, which I thought I would have got in business administration, but I got economics too. And I applied to UCC, which I chose accounting in UCC because the Bachelor of Commerce in accounting was the top tier course in UCC. My goal wasn't to go to UCC and do finance. I just wanted what is the best class that they have. And because of the business stereotype, you know, when you go to school to do BCom, they all like become accountant. So although I didn't like the accountant, but I just wanted to do it because that was the top tier thing in UCC. Unfortunately, when I applied, I didn't get to become accountant. They gave me become finance. So that's where it all started. So it was, to me, not as a matter of choice. It would be a matter of deliberation, which by God's grace ended up into a perfect field for me. And also I came into the US by God's grace to college, tried to pursue the whole economics, then also turned into finance, ended up in the finance field. Yeah, so it was a great thing when we're living in Ghana. You get a chance to choose between general science, business, and visual arts. But some of us, it's just a matter of like what your parents and you sit down to discuss what would be the best fit for you.
Amazing. Well, unlike my colleagues here, I had the opportunity to do general science in high school, and I would say that was an interesting journey for me. Oh, by the way, I went to sort of like the rival school, Michael and then Bismark. If you know Prempe and Novas, you know what I'm talking about. But cool. I went to Prempe and then obviously they went to Pokwari school. But I went to high school with the desire to pursue general science mainly because of my brother, right? So I have a brother, right? Well, he's sort of like the third born. So he did general science in high school, and he went to Prempeh College as well. So as at the time that I was about to go to high school, he was already in medical school, right? And so you see him as your like big brother, like, you know, your mentor vibe, like you see him and then like you see like, oh, this is sort of like the dream. And I had the opportunity to also like, you know, pay visit to him at KN University, sort of like and see the campus, the surroundings as well. I was like, well, this is something that I would desire to do. And you know, by the grace of God, to like in high school, math and science was something that I really enjoyed and then I really liked. So I said, like, you know, why not? And my dad also supported me in that decision, my mom as well. So I went to high school with the desire to do general arts and I mean general science. What am I saying? So general science, and then so from year 1 to year 3, I never really changed because general science is something that I like doing, like chemistry, math, everything about it. I really enjoy doing it. So that is a bit about like, you know, the journey as far as like, you know, choosing courses in high school was concerned. So great. I guess something that we can discuss real quick was sort of like the experience towards the end of high school, right? Because typically in Ghana, I think it's even in like West Africa in general, we have you know, this exam that we all have to write called WASI, West African Senior Secondary Certificate Examination, right? And so this exam is sort of like at the end of your time at high school, you have to sort of like account for your stay in high school, and it's these exams that is like, you know, basically used for placement in our universities. So I wanted to know like how the process was like for you guys, like pinpointing exactly like the preparation towards the WASI exams, and then, you know, the kind of seriousness that you had to become, because, you know, I know Ghanaians would like to know a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, I can take that. So when I went to school, when I went to high school, so I got like a shock. That to me, it will be like a competitive shock. You know how you transfer or you move to a different region and you have like cultural shock? What I experienced in high school was competitive shock. So you come from basic school or middle school where you're kind of known to be one of the people that do well in class. You get to high school, and since these high schools that we made mention of, the Opokuar, the Prempe, it's an amalgamation of the top students from their schools also coming to this school. So I remember when I was in class one day and they started to ask, what was your aggregate? Like meaning, what was the results that you got from middle school that got you here? And my shock was the least results in my class was like aggregate 8 or something. Some guy I still remember till today, his name is Nila Idowuna. He was sitting right behind me. Me opened his results and it was just like one stroke of 1. And if you know that, that means he had like perfect scores in every subject. Like it's just like one line written down. So I looked at it and I was like, man, this is going to be tough over here. So that to me was something that I looked up to as in, hey, if you are going to prepare, you have to prepare to be the best. Otherwise, you will be relegated in this class. So I couldn't push through to the top, but that same mindset was the same mindset I used to tackle the WASI. As in, this is an exam that you are going to also write, but where you want to get to, as in the college level, you are going to get there with some of the top and the brightest students. So you have to approach it with a competitive mindset that will not help you or let you be relegated in the long run. So I saw it as that. Sleepless nights sometimes, coupled with prayers. You go to the uncompleted building in Opoko, Soweto, BI Soweto, prayer band, you don't skip it, always praying, but with the books also. I remember this to this day, an experience that I will never forget. We're writing the inter-science paper for WATSI. I had to turn around to get an eraser from a guy. And the supervisor thought that I was trying to cheat. And that day was one of the worst days that I experienced when I was in Opokwari. So he slapped me like a manly slap from the back, bro. And all of a sudden, I kind of like for 7 minutes forgot what I was trying to
factory reset.
Yeah, it was like a factory reset to me. So those experiences, will it deter you to write the next paper? No. Those are some of the traits that I think we're able to learn. Like sequentially, things will happen to you that will not be in your favor. but this is the exam of your life. So forget about whatever happened, and you just go back and be stronger again. Yeah.
Great. Bismark, you wanna?
Yeah, I think that is the theme for me as well. When I was in high school, I was so remember in Ghana around 2007. Those who went to high school in 2007, the high school duration had changed from 3 to 4 years. And so those who entered high school in 2007 went to high school for 4 years. But then there was a change in government when the NPP lost power to the NDC in 2008. And 2009, when the NDC government came in, they changed it back to 3 years. And so when I went into high school in 2010, I was the first of the relaunched or the reinstated 3-year program in high school. So what happened then is those students who went to high school in 2009 had to complete 4 years of education, and then we that went in 2010 had to complete 3 years. And so both of those batches were going to complete in 2013. So essentially, we have two batches coming together to write the WASI examinations. And contrary to what the whole beliefs and gossips were at the time, we're all going to competing for the spots at the university. And so there was heightened pressure because you knew that there was going to be a lot more competition for places at the top universities. And so you go in and then you're trying your very best to be able to make sure you are putting your best foot forward and making sure you're getting your spot secured in college. So there's a lot of hard work, a lot of studies, of course, and then collaboration. At the Boku School, you always sometimes meet with other friends, go to the classroom, work together on different questions, work together on different past questions, make sure you are solving, crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's. I was always somebody who was very laid back when it came to studies. I didn't study. I never really was that guy who would go and then study every single night. And as Michael said, when you go to Pokuari, you meet some of the brightest minds. And it was like when I went around the first semester, the first time at the Pokuari, I came in 23rd. I was like, oh my God. But one of the things about me is that I never lose confidence. I always believed in myself that I was always good. And so in the back of my mind, I always felt like if I work hard, I can be able to succeed. So going to the WASI, thankfully I also had the experience of writing on Den of Deck before the WASI itself. So I wrote Den of Deck in 2012, got some 1 secured. And so going to the WASI, I knew the type of subjects I had to make sure I secure 1. I needed to get a 1 in commerce. I needed to get a 1 in elective maths, or get an A in elective maths, like those type of courses that I didn't do well in. And then of course all mine to English. I had to make sure you need to get your B. You might not be able to get your A, but at least get your B. And so all those things, factors come into play, but the collaboration is very, very key at Upokuwa. Just being able to work with some of the smartest dudes in the business and make sure that you're leveling up. And once you level up to them, you know that you're going to be fine, because behind a lot of students better than those students across the country. And so one of those things about WASI is it is everything you've studied. You have to, we don't know what is coming, right? So it can have some tension, it can have some stress. It does have some stress because you don't know whether what you've studied is going to come. But at the end of the day, we're lucky, or we're blessed to be successful by the grace of God in the WASI, and everything went well.
Great. Similar to me, obviously, like being a science student, the WASI involved some practicals as well for our electives. And so like my electives were chemistry, biology, and then obviously you had physics and then elective math. So physics, chemistry, biology had its practical side as well, which was a unique experience by itself, because we had to sort of like go to the lab and actually do practicals, like physical practicals, in order to sort of like be assessed on those as well. So that was a unique experience on this one. But I guess like throughout the 3 years in college, in high school, what happened was that we made preparations, right? So for the practicals, for example, we had sort of like weekly meetings for physics, biology, and chemistry, where we will go to the lab and then basically prepare ourselves for obviously the final exam that we had to write. So one intriguing thing about me was that when I went to year 3 of high school, I made it up in my mind that I'm gonna finish all past questions for all the subjects. Yeah, so so interesting enough, I think I was able to finish some of them, but not all of them. So I started from 1998, for most of these subjects. So I think the one that I was able to finish was chemistry, and then a few others. But regarding like the sweetness nice, that sometimes like there might be powerful fluctuations regarding the electricity, and then you have to use other means, for example, like a torchlight or whatever, like whatever means necessary. But all in all, as Bismark was saying, things were successful, and then we were able to get whatever we needed for the next stage of our lives. So speaking of the next stage of our life, you might as well just go to it then. As you guys were saying earlier,
I had a question. So I mean, 2 questions really. So one of the things that I realized is, for us, very early on, we had to choose whether we pursue in business or general science or general arts or visual arts, which is not necessarily the same thing across the world. At least in the US, students in high school are not expected to choose a path. They only choose a path when they go to college. Do we think that it is helpful or detrimental to a student having to choose their path so early? And what are your reasons for doing so? And my second question is, do you think the form of examination in high school, the WASI, is effective enough to bring out who the very best students in high school are?
Next time on the Fakra documentary, Coming to America, we're going to answer some prevalent questions about Ghana's high school educational system and speak more about how we got to know about studying abroad and some of the merits that came with it.